Hello, everybody. Jeff Mason with SimpleBiz360 podcast, coming to you from stlewispodcast.com at the home of Vi Media in Chesterfield, Missouri. Alex Dietrich on the boards. He's also going to be our episode 55 guest. Can't wait to have him on here. Does a great job giving you some crisp clarity on the sound and some nice visual, some real good visual as well. So, at any rate, hey, we are here today. This is a pretty cool episode, and it's called 120 Certified. So, before I start, we'd love if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's about 4 different ways to do it. Right on the screen, if you're watching right now, you can see a little icon, pinwheel down at the bottom right-hand corner. Just click on it, subscribe. It's a free subscription. You can go on our link. You can go on our homepage on YouTube and do it as well. Or you can even just go to from my website. You could do it. Subscribe to the podcast. And then we'd love your review. If you like the podcast, whether you're listening to it on any one of our 25 listening channels like Amazon, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, iHeart, Pandora, that goes on and on. Just give us a review there, or on YouTube. We would love it. But so today's episode is going to kind of be fun. I'm wearing my North 59 shirt. So my day job for 14 years, I own a sales agency. So, what I find really cool about that and why I wanted to share it with you today is that, I'm on the same level as you guys. I mean, and whenever I share with you, it's stuff that I use too, and it's things that, I've learned in my walk. So I'm 4 feet above ground driving that 237,000 mile Ford Escape, just like you guys are out there churning out your living and doing it as a one-person solopreneur, mompreneur, entrepreneur, or small business. So just want to make sure you knew we were on the same level. If you want to check it out, you can just take a look at it. It's north59outdoors.com. So today we're talking about the 120 Club, 120 Certified rather. And what is this all about? Well, it's something that's so near and dear to me. A lot of what you hear me share are things that I've picked up from third-party influencers. I've learned it from other business professionals who have gone before me. And I've picked up bits and pieces of this from other people, but I really kind of put this whole idea together myself a number of years ago. So I'm going to just, kind of whip through it with you here with some visuals and just make sure that we talk about it. So perception is reality. It's a big theme of our episodes 50 through 99. 51 through 99, I should say. And we're going to talk about it quite a bit because customer perception is customer reality. And that's the bottom line today. We live in that kind of world. Truth really doesn't matter. Words are cheap. People want to see and see you deliver something that's real and meaningful, and they will form their opinion of you, and that opinion becomes their reality, fact or not. So we just want to make sure that's something that's very important. In that same regard, your first 30 seconds is extremely important when you meet somebody new. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people blow it with me in the first 30 seconds. I had 2 people just recently this last year do some weird things in the first 30 seconds. I would suggest to you not to do what I'm about to tell you. One person came up and introduced themselves and then proceeded to tell me what I was doing wrong, and then proceeded to tell me that they had a best-selling book, that they knew all about writing books and everything. Well, I searched high and low and high and sideways and inside out for this person to find out this book. I've never found the book out, but I'll tell you what, in second, 23 of our discussion, done, I tuned him out. And then I had another interesting encounter just not too long ago where someone right out of the gate shook hands with me and said hello and had a negative comment about something that that this person felt was wrong about something that they saw of my companies. And I just thought, that's really a weird way to try to make friends and influence people. And if you're doing that with other of your customers, you're probably not going to last long with them or get any business from them. So remember, those first 30 seconds are critical. And we like to focus on the how over the what. It's a big theme of ours. How over the what. Okay, remember, and we said it, I mentioned it, I couldn't tell you how many times in my first number of episodes, but what I just found so amazing about a study that Starbucks did in the mid-90s is they really realized they were an atmospheric company, that it was the coffee experience that their customers wanted. And in a long story short, what they realized was they were not serving coffee to people. They were serving people coffee. It's how we do things, folks. It's the experience. We get measured and we get looked at and we get, honestly scored in the mind's eye of customers on how we do things, not so much as what. Now, do you really think that is, do you really think there's people falling on their sword with all that these days? Well, take a look at this. This is in my book. Okay. So there's a 2-part question I had from a customer, and it took 46 days for one of my companies to answer that. It took 42 emails and 6 phone calls. Now, that's real. That happened. I lived through it. My customer lived through it. I still have this customer to this day, thankfully. But I just want to let you know, this is commonplace, and this is just my little walk of life, my little slice of life. This happens to you guys too. And my point is, if you are the person that's doing this, if you are the person that's not answering in 46 emails and making your customer come pester you all the time, if you're the one that rather goes 42 emails in 46 days, you're not making your customers happy. They are not going to stick around, and they're not going to have good things to say about you. You can't do business that way. It just won't work, but it happens all the time. Oh, seriously? Does it really happen? Yeah. How about this? A customer service manager erasing unread emails. You know what? They'll email back if it's important. Guys, this happens. Again, my little slice of life. There's millions of people out there doing business. You all have your own stories. You all know the secrets of your own companies, but this happens. Companies erase emails before they go home at night thinking, you know what, if it's important, they'll get back to us. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. And if you're doing that and you're a small business owner or you're an operator or you're working for a publicly held corporation and you're trying to work your way up in the ranks, you're not going to get far. You're not going to, your home equity loan you took to finance your business, you're going to go out of business soon if you keep doing stuff like this. It doesn't work. It's not right. So what is the 120 certified all about? Well, just think about what I've shared with you there. Now I'm going to run something by you. So there's 240 business days in a year, right? So that's why the number 240 here. So just imagine, if you will, you get 240 inquiries through a year. So let's just say one a day, right? So what could possibly happen now if you're like a lot of companies and you only answer half of those inquiries, whether they're text message, phone, whether they're email, whether they knock on your door or whatever. If you've gotten 240, one a day, and you only answer half of them, now you're putting your customer in a position to have to come back to you one more time. So let's say you do that to 50% of the customers. Now those 240 inquiries have mushroomed into 360, right? So what happens if that 50% occurs again? Now you've got another 60 on top of that 360. Now you've got 420 inquiries that started out as 240. So now you've got redundancy built in, and customers aren't happy that they've got to do this. Now, does this happen again? Oh my gosh. I had a customer service manager that probably elevated these mathematics to about 700 and something, 760 at one time for me over the course of years. And my company thought I was nuts when I complained about it. Guess what? 2 years later, when they switched this person to another team, that team found the same thing out. And lo and behold, I wasn't the crazy one, right? It happens all the time. You're not going to get far with your customers if you're making them pester you for responses. And it happens all the time. It happens in personal life too. And again, this is part of the formula. If you've, kind of been catching us on other podcasts, those 3 Y's, right? Yes, 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 to respond to all inquiries, follow up and follow through. This plays into that. As you can see, everything's kind of tying together here. Now, what if you got those 240 inquiries and you did something that I call courtesy communication? In my book, I call it CCOM. So what is courtesy communication? Well, one of the things you're going to notice we sign off on each show now is get to the customer before they get to you. So what if those 240 inquiries, what if you actually examined how you do business, right? The how over the what, right? You examine how you do business and you go, you know what? I bet you I could update customers or give them a voluntary email or text message or phone call coming from me. I originate it. I disperse it to them, they hear it, and I could eliminate half of the inquiries throughout a course of a year, right? So instead of getting one a day, 240, now you get 120. So imagine if you were just proactive about that and you got to the customer before they got to you. Don't you think they would love that? Well, I will tell you what, I've been doing courtesy communication for dozens of years, and I have quite a bevy of appreciative comments and emails over the years. Yes, people do like it. Can I quantify it in terms of business? Not so much, but I can just tell you that perception being reality, they like the way Jeff Mason does business. I have one customer that I'm one of 175 sales reps they deal with, and at least until about 6 months ago, they said you were the best sales rep we've had working on our account of all 170 customers that we have, 175 that we have, and you've been the best since you started. That meant a lot to me to hear that, and that's not to boast to you on this podcast. That's to say I live this stuff I'm sharing with you here. I do. I live it. CCOM is my little creation. Courtesy communication. Told an executive that one time, and he laughed. He said, "Courtesy communication." No, I'm not doing that. So, can you become 120 certified? Forget the 240. Get to the customer with 120 emails or pieces of information you know they would appreciate hearing. Do it voluntarily. Bake it into your DNA. Bake it into your system. Bake it into the way you do things, the how over what. Make your customers happy. CCOM, right? Courtesy communication. Guys, try it. You'll be amazed. Save the emails and text responses. Take screenshots of it when you get it, because customers are going to love telling you about it, right? So you get to the customer before they get to you. That's the premise of it. That's one of the the whole components of it. It's simple, but it's fun. It's fun if you start doing it and your customers start responding to it and start saying thank you. Oh man, it's contagious. It's great. And there's so much of what you do. There's so many of those questions you get from customers that you could easily flip it over and do it and give it to them before they come to you and ask for it. Again, here we go. Customer perception is customer reality. It's the way it is anymore. Facts don't matter. And we're seeing it in public life, political life, personal life. It doesn't matter. It's the person's perception of you that matters. First 30 seconds is important, right? So that's a redundancy. Those are redundancies. Sorry about that. So, at any rate, that is the kind of the share session today. I'm excited to be able to bring this kind of stuff to you. And again, courtesy communication. It's something that will definitely, open some eyes and get you some good comments from customers and maybe even some repeat business, if you will. So what are we going to do today? We're going to close with our Lost in the Shuffle track. We're going to dip back into 1967. And this 2-minute song was number one on the charts for 4 weeks in a row. And, it's a lost art. It's called The Letter by the Box Tops. They were out of Memphis, Tennessee. Great little jumpy tune, but they were a blue-eyed soul group out of Memphis. And, it just kind of was in that, I love that British invasion sound and that time period with those garage bands cooking up. And this was just a cool short song, The Letter. Hey, we have lost the art of writing letters. Try to pick it up again, try to start it, but courtesy communication, get 120 certified, get to them before they get to you. Thank you so much. We will see you next week. Have a great week and be safe. Thanks.